Today's reading kind of feels like the focus of what's the internal pressure, stress, fire. Maybe it's like, a furnace that's burning too hot and trying to create a new beginning. What's really speaking to me with all the planets that we have move into Aries is how we've been having Chiron in Aries since about 2018, and it's not due to leave us for another year. So this Chiron in Aries is really highlighting identity, self-worth, our ability to be individuals. And if we can go back and look at this cycle that we've been experiencing, I think a lot of the wounds that have come up for us around Chiron and Aries and what we've been working to heal and seeing how we're healing others is this massive stellium of Aries energy hitting us now towards the end of this Chiron era is, I think, showing us how altogether collectively, because Aries has been hitting us in different places, right? We have different houses in Aries, we have different planets. We're all individuals experiencing this in our own flavor, our own degrees. And so I think what we've worked through has really been highlighted now, but also just giving us that sense of agency and righteousness that helps us to persist through what we need to keep going, to show us our identity, our I am of Aries. And so I just like to go ahead and get into that reading. So let's take a deep breath together. And I just ask that we're grounded, present, and open to receive messages. We're just going to go ahead and keep it general, but it is with the focus of, Chiron being in Aries and moving through this cycle. Two of Swords, King of Cups, Eight of Pentacles, Six of Wands at the bottom of the deck. This, I believe, is reassurance, especially with Six of Wands here, showing us like, yeah, we've been successful in being able to work through the things that we're conflicted through, right? Things that we didn't want to maybe split or make a decision about. And we're now able to satisfy ourselves. I think it's interesting how this king, right, is drinking, and they're drinking from their own cup that they filled up. And showing the hard work and the things that you've put in the effort for is just reminding you to appreciate those things, appreciate how you've set yourself up. You've meal planned for the week, right, for the era, and you're not having to worry about certain things because you have like your systems and your little ways of taking care of yourself set in place. And so you don't necessarily feel drained and empty, but it's like the realization that this is like what running on empty, like this is where it could lead to. You could lead to this sense, but like the Aries energy really pushing you forward and fanning that flame, right? It kind of started, I said at the beginning of the reading, was almost like there was like too much heat, right? And so it's how do you spread that heat? How do you utilize it so that it's not burning too hot and too quickly? So let's go ahead and do two more cards. The Magician, Eight of Wands, Queen of Wands at the bottom of the deck. Yeah, heavy wands energy of creating, manifesting, feeling that pressure, feeling that power, trusting your creativity and your ability to just call in. I think I like this combination, right, with this candle and this guy right here, the Magician. It's like that focus, that energy, and you have all of these things all these wands, right, shooting out of your aura, all this energy. It's sharp, it's penetrating, and I think this is just motivation for you to keep that momentum going, keep that roll going. Let's get a little bit more specific in the Magician card. Let's go ahead and clarify that. Nine of Cups, King of Cups, Six of Wands at the bottom of the deck. So I think it's just kind of taking us back to that beginning of knowing what it is that you're needing to bring into your life to fulfill yourself, make yourself happy, feel satisfied, not be hungry, not like, you know, eat and then wondering why you still feel hungry, or, you know, this much like later you're like, wow, I'm starving again. It's because you're really putting in the things that are building towards your success. And again, it's just reiterating, stick to what you're doing, stick to what you know right now, because this is the building block and the foundation. The last reading I did, I know I talked about, you know, Aries energy was a focus, and it was about how you're able to sustain this energy and keep the stamina up, keep in tune with your body to know that you're going the distance and that you have been going the distance. I think Chiron and Aries and us being at the tail end of that really is showing us like we can do this. We've had the strength and the stamina. You know, also, I noticed the last few weeks, there's been a lot of heaviness in regards to what people are experiencing in their personal lives, whether it's death or medical emergencies or finding out about serious long-term illness and cancers. And it's kind of in my work community how it all came up. It was like one day and then the next day, and there's been like a couple things that were going on beforehand, but like for all of it to kind of like bundle and come in together, I think it's interesting because when you have Chiron, I think working with certain planets, this isn't to like create fear or premonition, but I think there is like an indication of death. And like, I'm just loosely saying this, I think that has to do more with like nodal access and something like that too, and just to veer away from predictive, you know, people that might not understand. Like, what I'm really trying to say is that like we see this time as like war and battle, right? With Aries energy, and these wars and these internal battles that we have with ourselves and the things that we're working through, whether it's illness or divorce or, you know, fear of losing people. I think it's relevant to look at where these certain planets are sitting in your houses and how these transits could be impacting you. All right. So let's go ahead and close out this reading. That was a little bit of a sidebar, but I think still relevant. I think relevant in the sense that realizing that you're holding a light and keeping things illuminated, and the heaviness and the things that you've kind of gone through, being an example for those, and being with your community as these things happen around you. So you got Seven of Cups, Queen of Wands, Ace of Cups, and Six of Cups, bottom of the deck. There's lots of possibilities. Queen of Wands was here earlier, right? We had that at the bottom of the deck. And we're giving up this time of Pisces energy where we were in delusion and fantasy and seeing possibilities and the sense of maybe like delusional optimism. But now the fire's lit and we have Ace of Cups, we have our vision. There may be things that we're processing through or experiencing, right? Six of Cups, I think, is showing us too, like, it's honoring those memories and those things of our past, but moving forward to the single lit flame that we have going on, right? Magician card, we saw that earlier with all these different candles, all these different creations, manifestations that we're focused on thinking about. But it's one day at a time, keeping things slow and almost, it's weird because it's like, even like the way I was like feeling like I was delivering that message, just like time like slowed down, like all these things going on around, and I got a notification that stopped the video. So even more of a like, you know, you could have things popping up around you, whether it's from your past or in your present, future, your environment right now. And so just keeping patient, right? Keeping yourself grounded. There wasn't a lot of earth energy in here. And so it's, how do you keep your feet on the ground while still moving forward? All right, much love.